Is fasted cardio more effective than regular cardio?
Does fasted cardio really make a difference?
I like this question.
Yeah, for fat loss, no, it doesn't make a difference.
So in terms of practical takeaway here, there doesn't really seem to be any special benefit to doing cardio fasted.
So the idea that fasted cardio is always superior to fed state cardio for fat loss is bullshit. And they hate it. Stop it.
Some will say no, but what if I told you that it can be when leveraging the right pharmacology? Sup guys, in this video I'm going to discuss how to make fasted cardio more effective than regular cardio using pharmacology. It seems like there's always discussion in the fitness industry around fasted cardio and regular cardio in terms of what's more effective. And I'm sure that some of the guys that do talk about it know that they can improve the efficacy when using certain compounds, but for whatever reason they don't talk about it, which I can understand. They've got the reasons and they don't want to be potentially seen as promoting things. A client actually asked me the other day if fasted cardio was worth doing or not, and I thought, you know what, that would actually make a good video because there's things you can do to make it much more effective. Fasted cardio refers to doing aerobic exercise when insulin is low. So typically that's after an overnight fast, first thing in the morning. This type of hormonal state favors fat mobilization and oxidization because insulin is the storage hormone that prevents lipolysis. While muscle glycogen largely remains intact in the morning, the body is more likely to burn fat, especially during low to moderate intensity exercise. And this is due to a combination of low insulin and partially depleted liver glycogen. The problem is though, is that you might burn more fat during that small window of time when you're actually doing the cardio. But to compensate, your body is going to burn less fat for fuel for the rest of the day. And it does this by reducing NEAT, which is non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So things like random movements, fidgeting, pacing while you're on the phone, a lot of these are subconscious too, and you're not even aware that you're doing them. But they all contribute towards burning fat. A reduction of NEAT after fasted cardio will reduce the amount of calories burnt for the rest of the day because your body's basically trying to conserve energy. So in the end, it roughly balances itself out to where there's no substantial difference between fasted cardio and regular cardio in terms of fat loss for somebody who's not leveraging compounds that actually increase fasted cardio's effectiveness. With that being said though, I think there is some advantages to doing fasted cardio. For one, it's a great way to just start the momentum going. And if you get it out the way first thing in the morning, it's just done and checked off the list. And you don't have to do it later in the day where you might be a little bit more tired and your willpower's been depleted a bit, to where you might be more inclined to just skip cardio completely. So what type of compounds actually increase the efficacy of fasted cardio? Alpha-2 adrenergic receptor antagonists and beta-2 receptor agonists. Alpha-2 receptor antagonists include yohimbine and its cousin rhoolsine. And beta-2 agonists include clenbuterol and albuterol. There's more in each category as well, but they tend to be more obscure and less effective or harder to source and find. So for the sake of this video, we're going to focus on the main ones being yohimbine and clenbuterol. But just know that they all share the same mechanism of action. How do these actually work in regards to fasted cardio? First up, alpha-2 antagonists like yohimbine. They work by blocking the alpha-2 adrenergic receptor in fat cells. And when this receptor is active, it actually blocks fat from being released from the cell. So by blocking receptors that normally inhibit fat loss, it allows more fatty acids to be mobilized during low insulin states, such as fasted cardio. And while muscle glycogen may not be fully depleted in a fasted state, when you're doing moderate intensity cardio, the body does prefer to use fat as a fuel. These alpha-2 receptors are particularly dense in what we would call stubborn fat areas, like lower abs and love handles, lower back, those type of areas. And anecdotally myself, when I've used something like yohimbine, the lower abs and my lower back tend to lean out at the same rate as everything else, when normally they probably would have lagged behind a little bit. It's also important to note that insulin blunts yohimbine's effectiveness, so it's particularly important to use it fasted, otherwise it's just a waste of time. So this is how we can actually burn more fat during the fasted cardio session itself. Moving on to the beta-2 agonists then. Remember I said earlier that NEAT reduces following fasted cardio? Well, naturally that would be the case, but this is where these compounds come in. And they work by stimulating the beta-2 receptors, which are responsible for increasing something called CAMP. CAMP actually acts as a messenger and increases something called protein kinase A. Protein kinase A in turn activates hormone-sensitive lipase, an enzyme that breaks down triglycerides in fat cells. The triglycerides are then broken down into fatty acids, and these free fatty acids are released into the bloodstream and used as fuel, particularly during exercise. That's the basic mechanism of action of clenbuterol. And for any of you guys that have already used it, you'll know that you tend to fidget a lot. And you won't even be aware that you're doing it, and it won't be until somebody points it out. I think the classic example that you hear, guys will report their handshake a little bit like this, almost as if they've got Parkinson's disease or something, but it's those little tremors that are actually burning calories. Just as an example for me, if I'm sat working on the computer while I'm taking clenbuterol, I'll just be randomly tapping my foot, and I'm not consciously choosing to do that. That's just a result of the increased sympathetic nervous system activity caused by beta-2 activation. So bringing it back to fasted cardio then. Naturally, when you're doing fasted cardio, you get the reduction in NEAT. But clenbuterol offsets that and actually increases NEAT. So all of that really goes out the window when you factor in something like Clen or another beta-2 agonist that boost up NEAT. So the combination of alpha-2 adrenergic receptor antagonists and beta-2 receptor agonists, potent combination that can effectively increase the efficacy of fasted cardio, far above what would normally be possible. All right, guys, I hope this helps. Like the video, subscribe for more of this content. Enhancedplayer.com is the blog. Bye for now.